When did you realize that this was going to be a really serious event?
Boy, that was 10 years ago.
The first thing that, if I look back on it, was just the sounds of the river. The rocks were so big that were being moved. It sounded like dull thunder all the way up and down the valley.
We came in that morning, it was raining hard. And then all of a sudden we heard people saying, oh, this bridge is going out, the houses are starting to go, that bridge is starting to go.
Several of the bridges weren't out, but all the abutments were out. So the river had carved around each end of the bridge down 20, 30 feet.
The classic Vermont phrase, "You can't get there from here." That was Jamaica back in 2011.
We have lots of hills and mountains, and we have these streams and brooks and rivers that go through, and our roads are going through them also. And sometimes you have a road that goes up over the mountain, but all that washout just washes them out. We don't have a lot of flat land here, so it's going to happen.
We have a lot of feeder creeks that come into the Ball Mountain Creek, which runs right through Jamaica, right under Route 30, and then connects to the West River. We are really in a bowl for all practical purposes. And it just kind of all went down, and the lower it got, the tighter the bowl, the higher the velocity of the water, hence the destruction.
And then when you get near that type of raging water, you realize how uncontrollable it is, and also that you can't chance it. You're not going to fight this. You're not going to swim your way through it. It's like, no, this is raging. You go in, you're going to be like everything else that goes in the river, destroyed.
The word scoured is the proper word. We had stretches of Jamaica that were scoured from one side of the hill to the other side. And where there once was a stream and a road, it's now gravel pit with water in it. And it's literally stripped everything from the sides.
So the damage was, as my grandmother would say, biblical up in there. It was really extravagant.
I was talking to Greg Jolly the day before, and he said, you can just feel it in the air. He said, you can smell it. It smells like it did the day before Irene, and it tastes like the day before Irene. He knew a flood was coming.
With this storm, I think there was a weariness when it came back through. It brought back old memories. And for long years after, anytime it would rain heavily, people would get concerned. You could tell. It's like, it's happening again. It's like, oh, yeah, it's happening. Just stay out of its way.
I didn't realize. I knew it was raining hard, but it wasn't until I walked out and realized that this road, which doesn't flood, was inundated with just rainwater.
There's a bridge right up there that has been there for years, and that's where all this water was supposed to go. What happened is so much rain washed a bunch of debris up there. It got caught. The water had no place to go, so it got diverted and came down here.
Kind of like a clogged pipe almost?
You got it. A big clogged pipe,
There was water coming out of places I've never seen water come out of. That's not an old river course. That's not an old brook. That's not a dried up stream. That's just coming straight off the land because we're so saturated. This was a real ditch, culvert, tributary flood. If we had had one more inch, we would have had another Irene.
That road was passable until this storm. Even in Irene, this survived.
That's what I was saying. Irene didn't do this much damage.
No, not nearly.
So even the smaller storms, depending on when they hit and where they hit, can cause damage greater than the larger storms if it's dispersed over a period of time, over a larger area.
I got asked often how does this compare to Irene? And flooding and flash flooding looks the same. It's just the scale. And Irene was a much larger disaster. But frankly, it doesn't matter to the homeowner who was flooded out how it compares to Irene. They're just trying to figure out how to get their home dry, get their belongings cleaned off, or even be able to figure out how to get their belongings back. They're dealing with their own disaster. We think a lot about climate change. It's hard not to think about climate change because we understand every single disaster that is happening more frequently, and is the severity of the disasters is increasing. When you have a once in 100-year storm happening a lot less than once in 100 years.
We know now it's not every 100 years, it's every, 10 years, let's say, this time. One of the questions that we get asked a lot, why can't the state come in and put the rivers back the way they were? Well, with all the dynamics of the river, they've learned over decades of this is there's no point in putting it back because the river is going to go wherever the river wants to go. And to continue to continue to put structures or to try to steer a river where you want it, it's a losing proposition.
So flood resiliency can look like anywhere from armoring ditches along a lot of our hillside community roads, upsizing structures. It can look like floodplain restoration projects. It can look like actually proactively buying properties that are homes and getting them out of the floodplain.
You take a hurricane and you look at different kinds of trees, and the flexible trees survive. The ones that aren't flexible are snapped. We need to be flexible, and we need to flex with whatever is coming at us. And if it's a flash flood, we better be ready for it before it gets there, because it's not going to wait, I'm going to hold it while you change your ways of life. No, we need to adapt our living style to how nature is moving, regardless of why it's moving that way. It's just coming.
I don't think it's been solved. I don't think the question of whether we're prepared for all of the hazards related to climate change, I can't say that we are, because we've done a lot of investment in flooding, but we're also seeing things like extended drought. We're also seeing things like invasive species. It's a multifaceted challenge that we have to be prepared for, and it really has to be done through close attention, investment, and time and energy. That's the only way that we're going to be prepared and maintain preparedness.